Und damit ein herzliches Willkommen zurück bei The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolved bei The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, wie es hier sagt. In der letzten Aufnahmesession haben wir Fall Nummer 3 angefangen und die Investigation abgeschlossen, was eine sehr lange Investigation war, würde ich sagen, also ungewöhnlich lange. Und ja, in diesem Fall, der heißt The Return of the Great Departed Soul heißt der Fall. Und in diesem Fall haben wir die große Exhibition, die große Ausstellung, The Great Exhibition, die in London stattfindet. Und auf dieser großen Ausstellung findet ein Unfall statt, denn dort hat ein gewisser Albert Harebrain ja, eine Maschine gebaut, die jemanden teleportieren sollte. Diese Maschine ist aber explodiert, als derjenige, der teleportiert werden sollte, ja, teleportiert werden sollte. Und dementsprechend war der das Opfer. Albert Harebrain ist jetzt angeklagt, den umgebracht zu haben. Und je nachdem, wie es ausgeht, ob es ein Mord war oder ein Unfall, dürfen die Polizei quasi die Maschine dismanteln oder nicht und damit halt dann das wissenschaftliche Geheimnis dahinter herausfinden oder nicht. Im Moment gilt es noch als Unfall, im Moment gilt er noch als unschuldig, aber das könnte sich natürlich noch ändern. Und viel mehr wissen wir auch gar nicht zu dem Fall. Wir haben noch einen Crossbow gefunden, so einen Bogen, so eine Armbrust und ein verbranntes Stück Stoff. Und viel mehr wissen wir gar nicht. Was wir aber herausgefunden haben, war erstaunlich viel über Barock van Zieks. Barock van Zieks, der Staatsanwalt in diesen Spielen. Und wir waren in seinem Büro, denn er kennt den Albert Harebrain, den Angeklagten scheinbar, denn das ist ein alter Freund von der Uni, den er da hatte. Und ja, dementsprechend haben wir uns mit Barock unterhalten und wir haben auch gesehen, dass er am selben Tag attackiert wurde. Am selben Tag wurde er attackiert von Schergen, von dem Opfer in diesem Fall. Denn das Opfer in diesem Fall wurde schon mal angeklagt von Barock van Zieks, aber dann wieder freigesprochen und ist jetzt gestorben. Und laut dem Fluch des Reapers, von der Barock van Zieks ja nun mal ist, heißt es ja, dass alle Opfer, die freigesprochen wurden, trotzdem noch sterben. In Natsumes Fall und in Ginas Fall war das jetzt nicht so, witzigerweise, aber in McGildes Fall zum Beispiel und scheinbar auch in diesem Fall jetzt. Und ja, trotzdem ist der Harebrain angeklagt und Barock van Zieks meinte, ja, ich mach deinen Staatsanwalt, weil du mein Freund bist. Also scheinbar geht es ihm nicht um das schuldige Urteil, sondern einfach sicherzustellen, dass Harebrain da rauskommt. Was natürlich auch sehr für sein Credo spricht. Und dann war da noch eine mysteriöse Figur in seinem Büro, wo wir waren. Nämlich der sogenannte Apprentice, der Lehrling. Und das war so ein maskierter Dude, der einfach maskiert war und der auch nicht mit uns gesprochen hat. Und Ryunosuke meinte, es fühlte sich so an, als ob er dem schon mal begegnet ist. Und jetzt habe ich die Theorie aufgestellt, dass es vielleicht Kazuma sein könnte. Dass es vielleicht tatsächlich Kazuma sein könnte. Obwohl er ja tot ist. Aber der Fall heißt auch The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Die Great Departed Soul könnte halt wirklich Kazuma sein. Ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß es wirklich nicht, ob es Kazuma ist. Aber ich weiß, so oder so wird der Reveal crazy. Dann noch kurz zum Abschluss, wir waren auch noch im Wachsfigurenkabinett. Tatsächlich, weil wir Sherlock Holmes finden wollten. Und dort haben wir herausgefunden, dass in einer Ausstellung, wo Mörder und ihre Opfer ausgestellt wurden, eine Statue wohl entführt worden ist oder verschleppt worden ist und an die Besitzerin Frau Two Spells ein Lösegeld von $200 oder Pfund gefordert wurde, was sie auch bereit hielt. Und diese Figur, die da entführt wurde, war die Figur von dem sogenannten Professor. der wohl vor 10 Jahren einen Mord begangen hat an einem Clint van Siegs, ich weiß nicht mehr den Vornamen, aber auch an einem van Siegs. Und seit diesem Vorfall hat sich van Siegs wohl verändert, weil er wurde von Hairbrain als ein überaus offener, freundlicher Dude in der Uni bezeichnet. Und dieser Fall hat ihn wohl nachhaltig verändert. Und das sind, glaube ich, so all die roten Fäden, die letztes Mal aufgeworfen worden sind. Wir wissen erstaunlich wenig über den Fall selbst, über die Explosion und alles. Aber ich bin gespannt, wie das alles jetzt noch hier zusammenspielen wird. Das wird crazy. Ich laber jetzt schon 5 Minuten und ich glaube, ich habe noch nicht mal alles aufgezählt. Aber ich fange jetzt erstmal an. Let's go! The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Trial Part 1. Let's go. Ich hab Bock. Der Reveal wird so crazy, wer der Apprentice ist. Ich fühle es. 23. Oktober, das ist der Tag, an dem ich YouTube angefangen habe. 8:52 AM, the Old Bailey, Defendants Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial. To save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. Guck mal, wir haben 5 Beweisstücke. Das wird fun, sage ich euch. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Oh, ist das Herlock? Warte, hä? Habe ich... Lul? Ich habe gar nicht meine Übersetzung bei mir. Warte mal. Wo, hä? Bin ich lost gerade? Ich hatte mein Handy doch hier. Wo ist mein Handy? Kurzer Cut. Ich will wissen, was Commiseration heißt. Okay, da bin ich wieder. Entschuldigung für diesen kleinen Cut. Commiseration heißt Mitleid. Mein Handy lag hier direkt vor mir. Ich habe es einfach nicht gesehen. Ich bin dumm. Okay. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect you to see here. That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Are you... Sherlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir, I am he. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I've been heard all about your exploits, even with living in Germany. Ah, yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too. This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall. No, that was a speckled band. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh, I have urgent business at Madame Tussauds. Oh nein, muss er wieder modeln? You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that grandson note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the wax work naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh well, never mind then, I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know? Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's indestructible mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quiet, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Oh, why, thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Bruno, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. Okay. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up, you can do it. Oh, what about you, Iris? Ah, no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. Okay. I see. Hehe, it's going to be a big surprise for you, when you find out what it is. That sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense, and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. We are on our way. Okay, an experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Uyonosuke. That's the key to this case. Ja, wollen wir mal sehen, wie das zusammenhängt, dass es nicht hätte passieren können, aber trotzdem passiert ist. 23rd October, 9:10 AM, the Old Bailey Courtroom. Okay, ich glaube, das sind komplett neue Juroren. Die habe ich alle noch nicht gesehen. In the name of Her Majesty, the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Hairbrain. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more, I'm without Susato-san today. Ah, toll. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well. Mr. O.D. Assman, genau. Mr. Assman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court, prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty, because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Assman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? Ich glaube mittlerweile auch, der Reaper ist eine andere Person und versucht das Van Zieks nur anzuhängen. If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Assman's death was a direct result of the action of the accused, Professor Harebrained. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? I'm mostly gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials, all are nothing more than performances. Any spurious scholar that defies the reputation of science deserves to hang. We have to listen to what's said on both sides the fence, and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it? Ist das noch ein Kind? Oh wait, den kennen wir, das ist der schlafende Polizist. Wasn't like this in my day, wasn't like this at all. That's the police killer Ottermole lookalike. Again. Ja stimmt, Ottermole war dieser Polizeimörder. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement please, Lord Van Zieks. At the heart of this incident is a technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord! It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Also heutzutage nicht. Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure. Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking. Ha! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. Okay. What? What? Order, order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on its new hypothesis to take Mr. Asman's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Okay. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir! Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question, and in charge of the following investigation. Albert Harebrain, scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. What you demonstrated was incredible or right, an incredible explosion. But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. Okay. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. Würde der wirklich so aussehen, wenn der wegen der Explosion gestorben ist? Da wäre er doch zerfetzt, oder nicht? That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. I see. Very well, submit the photograph as evidence. Und das war inside the Crystal Tower, also im Crystal Tower und nicht auf der Stage, okay. The photograph of the victim has been entered into the court record. A photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower. It shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. O.D. Asman. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine! You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage? But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon. Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry? Me? No, your neighbor. Yes, sir, it was murder. Plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty. What? How can you possibly think that? Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experience to have been a front for murder. Mord oder Unfall? Witness testimony. Gute Frage. A front for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. A lesion. Wunde, okay. Hätte man sich denken können, aber was soll man machen, wenn die unbekannte Wörter benutzen? In the chest, stabbed by something sharp right in the heart, okay. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it. Ist er das? An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No, no, and no! That couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. I mean, wir haben ihn doch noch lebendig selbst gesehen in dem Introduction Clip zu dem Fall quasi. Da haben wir doch gesehen, wie er da in die Maschine eingestiegen ist und alles. Also das muss ja fishy sein hier. The victim stood himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. Okay, das macht dann Sinn wiederum, dass er quasi dahin teleportiert wurde, während die Maschine explodiert ist und deswegen, er war schon weg, als sie explodiert ist, quasi. Das will Sinn machen. Ich dachte, er ist in der Explosion gestorben, er ist links gestorben und wurde dann von der Explosion weggeschleudert. Aber so macht das Sinn, okay. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel. The autopsy report has been entered into the court records. The autopsy report of the victim, Mr. Assman. His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall, and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only person on the stage with Mr. Assman was a disgraceful excuse for a scientist. Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Okay. Let's go!